5 lore-friendly weapon mods. So I guess the best way to start off this video is properly defining what I mean by lore-friendly. For this list, I explicitly got mods that aren't in other Fallout games. If you're looking for mods that did just appear in previous Fallouts, I do have a standalone video on that, which you click the annotation right there to check out. It'll open in a new tab. In this video, I wanted to pick out a bunch of weapons that are mostly mod authors' original creations, things they thought of in their head and kind of put into the game as their own designs. But each of the weapons here do either have a backstory created by the mod author himself to make it fit into the game, or there's actually something that just fits into the lore in a different way. I know some people do really like the lore of Fallout and don't like any weapons or mods in general that do violate that, so I did want to make this video for those people. But even beyond that, I just thought it'd be a pretty interesting video to make. Fallout itself has a pretty interesting lore and even a theme behind it, and I always like seeing people try to create weapon mods that fit into that pretty well. If you guys do enjoy the content, I encourage you to consider subscribing, but with that, let's just jump right into it. So the first weapon I do want to show you guys is the Makeshift Anti-Material Rifle. This is a mod by Shoe Burglar, who most recently released the Hollow Rifle / China Lake. From the day this mod was released, I was like, this just fits into Fallout 4 so well. As you can see, more or less what this is a very high caliber single shot, I guess sniper, or just really meant to be anti-power armor. He does say that this basically was a weapon designed by the gunners to combat the Brotherhood of Steel and their advanced power armor. So in game, you'll find it mostly on upper level gunners and then around on some other enemies. Again, this weapon just looks like something straight out of Fallout. It has a really thrown together design with all the tape, and it really just looks like it uses some miscellaneous parts that you might have found around to make it a very powerful and formidable rifle, yet not necessarily something that will stand up to an actual properly made anti-material rifle. All around, a very cool weapon and actually a pretty cool gun just in general to have in your game. It allows you access to some pretty high damage at a relatively low level, at the cost of course being only single shot. Then we do have the Falcon 3 Scout Pistol. This is by Matrix Aaron, and it actually seems like this is the only mod he did create, but all around it is a pretty high quality one nonetheless. The Falcon 3 Scout Pistol is meant to be a pistol for like spies or just different operatives of the government. It was designed before the war started, and it was basically a counterpart to power armor, in the sense that power armor was meant for soldiers, and this was meant for the spies on the back end of things. They obviously couldn't go in with the advanced power armor, so they needed some other technology to really help support them. The company behind this is meant to be called Made Dynamics. Basically, they work with the Commonwealth Institute of Technology to design this pistol that does have a scope that can track different enemy targets, and all around it's a pretty cool pistol, pretty high quality one. One of the coolest parts of this mod is the way you do find it in the Commonwealth. You actually find it on a train in a box that was meant to be going to the Commonwealth Institute of Technology, basically a prototype on its way, but then the bombs dropped and the train got derailed, etc, etc. All around a very cool mod. It stands out a little bit on this list as being one of the higher tech ones, but I think the lore he did create for it does make it fit in pretty well. It seems like something that was on the cutting edge right before civilization did go to shit and all the bombs did drop. And plus, I personally really like having pistols, and this one in particular makes it almost feel like you could use it as a primary weapon due to the scope and just some of the damage it does output. So then we do have the M2045 Magnum Revolver Rifle. This is one of the most popular mods on this list, one you probably have heard of, and the latest update has made this one of my favorite mods in general. This is by the Rizzler, who is most well known for this mod, although he also has made a Claymore sword that I actually featured when I did cover my Knight Power Armor video. Like I did say, this is a really cool mod for two reasons. One, the lore behind it is pretty nice. Basically, this was a weapon designed 32 years before the Great War started and all the bombs did drop, although it was just way too powerful of a weapon for a regular soldier to handle. Although it did fire a massive caliber bullet that was great for anti-tank and just things like that, the recoil was way too much and it would just throw you on your ass. So with the advent of power armor, the M2045 did get a breath of new life. First and foremost, obviously, the power armor was a strong enough armor and exosuit that allowed you to actually handle the recoil of the weapon, but even beyond that, it was great against enemies' power armor. Then after the bombs dropped, there was very few of these actually in production due to its kind of failed initial release, so the few instances of the weapon that do remain were taken up by the Brotherhood of Steel, and now that's where you'll find them in Fallout 4 on some high level Brotherhood of Steel, and in addition you'll actually find it in a few unique locations on the map. The gun itself also got some really cool reload animations that was added in an update not too long ago, and as you can see, as you reload the weapon, there is that big bullet in the middle that is much larger than all the others. It actually does 50% more damage than every other shot in the weapon. All around it has custom sounds. It does have that new split action reload, which makes it just all that much cooler. Definitely a great weapon, and I really love the lore and features that this does provide. So then we do have the Pipe Shotgun Collection. This is a really cool mod and actually a really old mod. This was developed by Elgos as well as Hank Spa Madres. I'm without a doubt pronouncing that at least partially wrong. Elgos only made one other mod, including this one, that being a Shiv mod, as well as Hank Spa Madres is actually the mod author behind See-Through Combat Scopes, one of the best mods for Fallout 4 in my eyes, just period. Obviously, pipe weapons are a pretty big part of Fallout 4. It's kind of the lower level weapon that you see in many different variants, whether it be pipe pistols or even some of the submachine guns you can create out of the pipe framework. Well, it's going to add in a totally new gun, a pipe shotgun, and also kind of supports this idea of it being a very versatile framework. You could have double barrels, single barrels, triple barrels, quad barrels, even a revolver shotgun, which is really cool. This weapon pack just fits really well into Fallout 4 with the onset of the new pipe weaponry, and it really does support the weapon customization system, which is awesome to see. It doesn't explicitly have some lore behind it, but again, honestly, it just fits in super well, and it's a weapon mod that I've been using pretty much since I started using weapon mods in Fallout 4. So last but certainly not least, we have the SVT-40. So this is actually a real-world rifle, probably something you are familiar with. This is by a mod author named Axis. He did release a ton of great lore-friendly weapon mods in the past, as well as he continues to do so going forward. In the Fallout universe, there's this thing called Divergence. Basically, that's where the Fallout universe splits from the real world. This occurred in the late 1940s to the 1950s. There's not an exact year date given, but regardless, it's around that time. So in the Fallout universe, World War II did occur. The SVT-40 was a massive asset to the Soviet Union in World War II. The weapon itself is really high quality. It has a ton of cool features, like just totally custom versions of the weapon being around the map, as well as a ton of cool attachments. Axis has made a ton of great weapon mods in the past, and this definitely is one of those. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know in the comments down below, do you want to see another iteration of not the series, but just this video? There are still a lot of lore-friendly weapons out there that I would love to make another video on. Regardless, hopefully you guys found this helpful, whether you really love just sticking to the lore yourself, or if you just want to spice up your game with some new cool weapons. I think every weapon on this list is a pretty good download, and I personally use all of them pretty extensively. Regardless, again, I do thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.